All right, guys, we're gonna get started here. I have a little bit of a scratchy throat today. Not sure what's going on, but hopefully it won't affect me too much. Everyone out there on Zoom, can you hear me? Turn this down.
They're all zoned out.
Yep.
Oh, there was one.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and unmute your mics if you have a question.
Yes, I can hear you. These are almost
Perfect.
two sometimes, so, cause it's like,
Could you mute your mic, please?
she uses the phone, but I see her get distracted and,
Who is that?
There you go. All right, thank you. All right, so today I'm going to be going over Smartplans in Command and how they work and what you can really do with them. Smartplans, in other words, are ways to automate certain things, tasks, text messages, emails, reminders, everything like that that you have a plan for. You can, if you have it all planned out and set up, you can put your contacts on those plans and have those follow through and do what they're meant to do. So a lot of people call them well, in Command we call them smart plans, but a lot of other folks have called them campaigns before. Drip campaigns you hear a lot too. They all basically mean the same thing, just kind of the same terminology. Okay, so to get started, one of the things that is not necessarily required but really recommended is to set up the texting subscription in Command, so that if you have plans, smart plans that send out text messages or that you want to send out text messages, that they'll be able to actually do that. So to get to there, first thing we need to do is we can go into our settings here. Well, first we log into Command, and then we can go into our settings from the top right corner, and we go down to the settings option. And by the way, I am recording this, so I'll have it available a little bit later on. Okay, this thing is a little slow here.
Is that the Twilio account or something?
Yeah, it's going to be the Twilio account or Twilio subscription. All right, so from this page, once it gets to the settings, you're going to scroll all the way down where you're going to be able to see your Twilio area and whether you have it subscribed already or not. In my case here, I do have a Twilio subscription for my account, and this is the phone number that it has for me right here. So the thing with Twilio is that when you set it up, it's going to give you a phone number to pick from. So the text messages from here that run through Twilio are going to run through the phone number that you pick. It's not going to be from your cell number that that we have already. And that's because this has to use a different number to work out of Command, at least for the time being. So this is an example of what this looks like. So I have my number, it is connected through here. So I'm good to go. I can use plans to send out text messages. If you guys are brand new or you don't have this set up, you're not going to see the connected status, and instead you'll have a button here on the side where it'll let you go into the marketplace and be able to set up the subscription. So I'm going to cut over to that here because again I already have mine set up here. So let's say that I didn't have it set up already. And where we would actually go is going to be right here. And actually, at the current moment, I'm seeing this right now. They're actually having a couple of technical issues with Twilio and the Twilio setup, again, at the current time. So we're actually not able to set up Twilio subscriptions at this moment. And until we're able to get past that and they're able to fix whatever issues are going on, we're not going to be able to continue further. But let's say that this was working. From the settings page, you would click on on that button there to set up your account. It's going to take you here to this marketplace in Command. And you can basically click through the steps. It's going to ask you what subscription plan do you want to use. 300 credits is the minimum. Credits meaning how many text messages your plan can send out, for the subscription that you pay for. And it goes up, and it goes up from there. And of course, the cost for each of those plans goes up as well. To start off with, if you want to, get into that, I would recommend the smallest plan, especially if you don't have a lot of contacts in your, in your contacts list. Then you could go with the small plan, and and start using that. And then, should you ever need to upgrade your plan from there, you can always go back into the subscription page and choose a different plan if you need more messages. I apologize. I just recalled that this was under maintenance, but as soon as this is fixed, we'll be able to continue from here. Let's see. Another thing as well is, let's say that you set up Twilio. It's you have your number. It's running. But you're not really using it so much, and you kind of want to pause the subscription so that because all the text messages, so the credits that you have, whichever ones you don't use for that period, they accrue month over month. So if you have 300 credits and you only use 150 of them in that time, it's going to add the remainder of those, the 150, to the next month. So next month after that, you're going to have 450 messages, and then it's going to kind of go on from there, which might be a lot after a while. Especially if you're not using them so much. What's that?
Do they ever expire?
They do expire after some time, and there's going to be when you actually have the Twilio subscription set up, you have this manage button here, and it'll tell you here, how many you've used for the month. So I actually have a few that I've accrued here, and it'll give you a number right here for which ones are expiring that month. So which ones would eventually expire after that time.
Right.
So you can't see that information. So if you were going to get to the point where you wanted to cancel that subscription and pause it, we recommend that you send an email to the KW Marketplace so that they can put your account on pause, but not necessarily cancel it. Because if you cancel it, you actually lose the phone number that you pick. So then you'd have to go through the process again of signing up, picking a different number, because it's not going to give you the same one. And if you've already had messages going out from that, that might be might be an issue. You might want to be able to avoid that. So if you guys have any questions with that, say if you get to that point, let me know so that I can help you out in putting that subscription on pause, and so that they don't cancel it out altogether. All right, so that's the Twilio setup. So again, not required to run the smart plans, but as it's an additional option, because then you are able to send text messages through those plans. All right, so besides that, now we can hop into one of the smart plan, examples that we have here. So one of the more popular smart plans that's available, and one of the easier ones to set up, and possibly one of the pretty effective ones, it's called the Monthly Neighborhood Nurture. And what that is, it's an email that gets sent out once or twice, and to your contacts or whoever you put on there. And it actually starts emailing out samples of listings that are in their area. So where they live, it'll start, once or twice a month, start emailing them directly from you, from our account on Command, those listings, which is pretty nice. So, and it never ends, either until we take them off that plan or if they unsubscribe from it. So it's just something that's constantly going out there that, once or twice is basically touching your clients, for the whole year until until it ends, basically.
Are these KW listings or just general?
These
random
are,
listings?
yeah, general listings, anything that's out there on the MLS, no matter from which office it's listed by, it's gonna show up in that email.
So is that gonna be from the KW email or from the email that we used to set up this account?
So there's a couple of options with that. We can pick the reply to email, but generally when it goes out, it's going to be from your KW email. Yeah. Okay, so let's go into an example of this here. We got a question out there on Zoom. Can you filter the listings by price? So what I'll show you guys, it's pretty kind of open-ended. We're not able to filter out what gets sent out to them because it's just going to be what's in their area, just automatically goes. From what they receive on their end, then they can filter from there. They can choose pricing and square footage and all that. So let me get into this here. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to start off with a contact that I have here. This is going to be myself. And I'm going to show you guys here what this looks like. So I can kind of go through this all again. I'm going to take myself off the plan because I had myself on there already. And I'm going to kind of just go from the start here. Okay. So easiest way to put somebody on this plan is if you have their home address. If you have their home address and you put that into the Command details, the really nice thing about that is that Command will automatically detect their neighborhood or basically the starting location for this sort of plan. So in my case, I don't have an address in here for myself, so I'm going to go through and re-edit my contact info. I'm going to go down to add more information, and then under additional contact information, it takes a couple clicks, then I get to the home address location. So whether you're putting somebody brand new into your contact list or you have them in there already, you can always re-edit their information or what's ever on here. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the address. And what's nice is it automatically detects the address here, so you can just pick it from the list, make it easy, and just click on save. So what happens when we do that is it's going to add, of course, the address down here at the bottom in their information, but it'll also establish their primary neighborhood, which is going to show up right here in the middle of the screen. This is saying that based off of this address, this is the neighborhood that's mapped out, and those are the borders that we see here. These maps and these borders, they come from the Nextdoor service. Nextdoor is that social media platform that's out there where neighbors can sign up and basically chat about their location and do announcements and that kind of stuff. their neighborhood information, their boundaries and all that is what we see here in Command. So Nextdoor and Command had partnered, or Keller Williams had partnered a few years ago to make this happen. So this is where we get these maps and the information that pops up from them. So from here, on the agent side, we can actually preview this in advance by clicking on this little preview button on the corner of the map. So if I click on this, this is going to show me a live example of basically the email that this person is going to receive as part of this plan. So this is something really quick that it's just put together by basically by itself. And as you can see here, it's going to be the map of the area as well as the listings that are listed in here currently. You can see off these, here these off to the side. You might see some listings that get duplicated or show up, more than once. That's to do with multiple MLSs kind of syncing all into one. So if I click on this property here, this one is listed, that's CR MLS here, so that's the SRAR MLS system, and then this one here is likely going to be from GABAR. Yep, here in Greater Antelope Valley. So there's no way to prevent it from duplicating these. It's just, if an agent listed a property, in the different MLSs, and the KW system pulls them all together, this is why we see duplicates a lot of the time, is when that happens. Yes?
So you're telling me that we have access to pretty much all the listings made by our associate KW in all these right markets?
Pretty much, because as I go through the rest of this example, you can actually use this to put somebody on this plan to start receiving listings from a totally different city in a different state. That's the power of this. While it's very limited in a way and very generic, it is very open. That's the benefit to it, because it's nationwide. It's nationwide information that we can put somebody on here and basically send them listings of wherever they're thinking about moving to or they're interested in.
So the neighborhoods are created by Nextdoor, but the listings all come from the local MLS, whether we're a member of it or not, right?
Yep. So this is what the client would see when they open the email. So let me continue with the rest of the example here. So we've done, the main step here is connecting the neighborhood. The other, of course, is they have to have an email address to receive this to. And then the next step is to actually put them on the smart plan. There's a few different ways we can do that. One of the easier ways is we can just go directly from the contacts page in here. So if I go over to the Smart Plans tab here over on the right, it's going to show whichever smart plans we currently have this person on. Right now I don't have any. So I'm going to click on Add to Smart Plan, and then you're going to see a list here of all of the smart plans that you currently have in your smart plan library. In a moment, I'll go to that page separately and I'll show you guys that. But from here, what I'm looking for is going to be the monthly neighborhood nurture or the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. The difference between these two are both the same, but the difference is one is just once a month that it sends out this email, and the second one is twice a month. So every 15 days is when this email is sent out. So I'm going to go with the twice a month option. Let's say that this client here is interested in seeing more of the stuff more often. So I can just select it, And it's gonna ask me, when do I wanna select the start date? I can start this today immediately, or on a different day. I have those two options. So if I start this now, and I confirm, and then I'm gonna just refresh the page here. All right. So we're gonna see this. So over on the right side of the screen, under the timeline tab, is actually where you're gonna see a lot of updates and just information to do with this contact. So whether you have them on a smart plan, you have them using your mobile app, you're putting them on, other types of reminders, anything like that, or if they had if my smart plan sent them a text message and they replied back to it, this timeline here shows me all of that information, which is really nice. So here, for example, today, October 28th, I had started them on the smart plan, so there's record of that here. And then right away, it says that it sent the email to them, at this date and time. And of course, if I go over to the Smart Plans tab, now I see one active Smart Plan that I have them on here. So what does this, so let's see what this email actually looks like here. So I'm going to hop into my email account. And remember my password. That it? There we go. Go, and then security, that's always important. Yep. Nope. Okay, here we go. So, email that comes in to their inbox is gonna look exactly like this. So the headline or the subject is always gonna say, bi-weekly neighborhood update. We're gonna see that here. And then what's nice is it's gonna pull over your contact information directly from your command profile. So, your name, your headshot, phone number, website address, license number, all of that comes through automatically here, besides the rest of the email. So let's say here, this neighborhood is the Highlands. There's an average of, the average home listed price is $782,000 and so on. And then here's just a little bit of the listing activity. So it keeps it brief. It doesn't give out too much information because, the idea behind this is that, they should click on it. Because when they do.
What a spread. Average, a listing is 782, average sale is 400,000.
Seriously.
That's sad.
Yeah, and it could be the mix of the really, because it's right here, we're in this neighborhood, the mix of the custom homes and the land lots and all that is how it, kind of comes up with that variance there. So, that's how we can get some interesting stats like that right through here. So you can see that as the person receiving this email, if I clicked on it, it brings me right back to the same preview page that I see here. And from here, if I was the client and I, clicked on one of these homes here, wherever, from whichever MLS it may come from, all the pictures get displayed on here, the property details, pricing and all, and so on, is all gonna be on this page. This will never put any of the listing agents' information on here, like contact information, phone number, email. So you guys don't have to worry about that. Any which way to contact you from here, or to contact an agent from here is gonna be back to yourself directly because, it came from our command account, it's going to them, it's gonna redirect back to us. So things like scheduling a tour and any other information that shows from here is gonna be ours.
Can you please go over the option or we have to add to the email in order for them to have access to the market, to this info? What's the attachment called?
The smart plan, it's so we went through, we put in the address that established the neighborhood, and then we went on to turn on the smart plan. So then the smart plan we chose was the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. That's the one that we chose. As soon as we turn it on, then it sends out the email.
Can you do it again?
Yeah,
So
Just
it's
because
monthly or bi-weekly?
monthly or bi-weekly. Yeah, I'll come back.
Those are the
with
choices you're
that.
thinking about?
The process, how to do it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll go right back to that in a moment. But what the client would see here is gonna be all of the details, again, from the listing. And this will apply to anyone that they clicked on here. Neighborhood stats, nearby schools, even a built-in mortgage payment calculator that they can play around with, get an idea. So all the stuff is just provided to them, they can see here. And again, have multiple areas on here, down at the bottom, gonna have your contact information, your phone number, your email address, the office information, all of that gets in here automatically. So it's the really nice thing about the system is it's all just there. Okay, so now going back,
So is there a limit to how many neighborhoods you can add for somebody?
there's no real limit because I've gone through this here and I've added a ton. I've added a bunch. What it does is if you add, the more you keep adding to this, and even from here, it gives you some suggested neighborhoods that are near the primary one. You can click on these and it's gonna start adding them to the neighborhoods list. So if I click on more here, it's gonna add them to the little, the little list here. And of course, over on the right side, here it's showing, kind of starting from the beginning. The email was sent to the client. The client actually opened the email and viewed the neighborhood. They were viewing the neighborhood at this time, and they actually viewed this listing right here. So, this is keeping track in real time, their activity, and it's the stuff that's kind of going on. And as the agent, I can click on that actual listing. It's gonna take me to, let's see here. Maybe that's not a good example here. But what it would do is you click on that and it's gonna take you to a page here with the same information about that exact listing. Or, at least here you have an address that you can kind of cross-check and find somewhere else. And then be able to see what they were looking at. Real quick to kind of go over the step here. Oh, we lost audio? Oh, okay, sorry about that. I must have bumped the keyboard or something. I think you guys can hear me now. Okay, there we go. All right, so going back through this example one more time, what I had done is I went into the client's details. I went to add more information. Under additional contact information is where I can put in the address. So I put that in, I clicked on save. And what that does is it establishes the primary neighborhood, so that's our starting point. And then from there, I went over to the Smart Plans tab. That's just here on the same screen. And I went in to add a Smart Plan. That brings up the list of Smart Plans, and then from here, I go down to the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. This one sends out 2 emails a month, and I selected it. I started it on the same day, so that way it sent out the email on today's date. So pretty much that's the, it's as easy as that, it's a couple of steps, but if you have all those things, now you have somebody on this plan, and it's gonna, it's not gonna stop. It's just gonna keep on sending them these listings. So, and even, even if I add more and more neighborhoods to this, the next email that they would receive as part of this plan is gonna have that update, with those, with those listings.
If somebody opted out of that, would you be notified?
So if somebody opted out of this, I don't believe this will notify us, because usually that's on like the email side. So me on my personal email or wherever I'm receiving this at, if I'm subscribing from there, or if I block it, that's kind of where that ends. Unfortunately, back here on the command side or on our end, we're not gonna be notified of that. One way that we could tell actually is if we're looking at the timeline, and the next time that the email had attempted to send, we're gonna see a, proof there. It's gonna say attempted to send, it's gonna have some kind of error, because either it unsubscribed, or it didn't make it through. So we have that way of telling from here.
I have a question. On the library, for example, if I want to do the Halloween plan, I downloaded the Halloween, I added to my smart plan, but now I cannot find it on the library.
Okay, so that's where I was gonna go next. So I'll hop into the library in just a moment. Yes.
If you don't have a map, let's say someone is looking just on a specific place, so can you draw your own map, like a square or whatever?
Yeah, so a way we can do that, let's say, and great question, we don't have an address to start off with, but we have an idea of the area that they're looking for, or they're looking to, properties in. Easiest way to do this is if we go to add a neighborhood from this button right here. Let's say I didn't have an address in here at all. I would click on that button to add a neighborhood, and the easiest way from here is to do the find on map. Because the way that this system works, at least currently, it wants to search for, or wants to search by the actual name of that neighborhood. So the Highlands, Avenue P6, Summerwin, Berkshire, it's that specific. So the way we can go around that is if we click on the map, and because I had an address in here already, it went directly to this location. By default, if you don't have an address, the map will likely be kind of out here, zoomed out. So what you can do is you can move the map around. You can zoom in and out like this. So as I zoom in more and more, it's going to show me more of the actual neighborhoods that are in the area here. So from here, I can actually go to, like, say, Rancho Vista. I can select that one. Marie Kerr Park, Pacific Highlands. Kind of anything that's out here in the area. So let's say this is where my client was interested in looking in. So I can choose these three, and I don't really have a limit. I can keep on clicking on these, depending on which ones I feel would be a good fit, and just click on save. And then what that'll do is it's going to add them to the list of neighborhoods here in the email. So the next time that this client would receive the email automatically, again, I'm previewing the example here. This is where it's actually going to show all of the different neighborhoods that we have added them to. So I can go through and see, this is the Rancho Vista neighborhood and all those properties, West Palmdale 2, Marie Kerr Park, Summerwin, anything like that. This is where they, can start receiving that info. And actually, to go beyond that, oops. To go beyond that, if I wanted to, say this person was looking to search out of state, I can zoom the map out, all the way. I can do a search for the location, but again, this is gonna wanna know the neighborhood name. So it might get me close, to kind of where I'm, looking in. So if I do Portland, Oregon, for example, some things here come up and that are kind of in the area. I can click on one just so that it moves the map closer to that area first. And then from here, I can zoom in, of course, and then kind of see everything that's there. So if they're looking in this area or really anywhere else, again, in the States, I can start clicking on any of these here.
Does it show them actives, pendings, and solds?
In the neighborhood details, it does, or at least it gives us a few numbers. So let me click on those and save them. And if I preview this, then I'm going to have all those that I just added. So let's see, Rose City Park. So, from here, again, this is all listings that were, totally out of the area, out of our MLS and all that. But we have access to that information from here if we use the system, if we utilize this, which is really, really nice.
Does it say on there, I can't read it from here, but does it say whether they're active or pending or what their status is?
Yeah, so out here on just kind of like the outside, it doesn't, but if I were to click on any of the properties, it shows it right here in kind of this little area next to the price. This one is active in this example, and if I scroll down, each neighborhood is going to have these stats here. So I kind of do have to click on one of the properties to be able to hop into and see some of these neighborhood stats. So, number of homes for sale, average days on market, and average home price and all that. I can see that roughly here. And of course, the next time that this email would go out to this person, they would see it kind of like in that preview right when they opened their email and they saw it. They would, be seeing something like this. But instead of just one neighborhood here as my first example, it's going to be, a few of the other ones.
Right.
It'll try to keep it brief, of course, depending on how many it's able to put in there in a single email. But they can always just click on it and then go to that page where they see everything. All right. Again, reason I went into detail with just this one smart plan is because it's, the potential, the power that it has, that you can use this, all within the Keller Williams tools and system to put somebody on this. It's just going to keep going out with our information and just going to be a constant touch. That that's something that's already ready to go. Besides this, of course, we can hop into the other smart plans that are out there. And to really be able to see those, we can go into the Smart Plans tab over here on the left. And so this is where we're going to see all of our Smart Plans library of everything that we have here. So in my personal library, I have 16 plans, and they're kind of all in here. Whether I've created it myself, they're going to be in here, or there were the ones provided by Keller Williams already. They're all going to be shown here on this one page. And this is actually a good way to see how many people you actually have on those smart plans. So in my example here, I have just one person in my biweekly neighborhood nurture plan. But if I had 100, that would show 100. If I had, more than that. And I can click on the little I button right here next to that number, and it'll actually show me which ones specifically are on there. So this is one way where I can kind of see everything from here. Should I create my own plan and I have people on there and I needed to stop it for whatever reason, I do have the option right here to unsubscribe them all at the same time from it. So should I have to make any edits to that plan, if I had started it and it was already going, but I needed to make any changes, I needed to remove stuff or add stuff to it. I'm not able to do that while the plan is actively running and have people on there. So I'd have to do something like this, where I would unsubscribe everyone, take them off, make the changes, save the plan, and then put them back on. So kind of one of the current limitations of the Smart Plan system is, you know, if we start a plan, and we got to kind of do those things to make those sort of changes. So so this is my personal library. The next tab here at the top is actually the entire Smart Plans library that's out there. Really nice thing about this is there's, you know, thousands of agents out there across Keller Williams that will create their own Smart Plans, whether they're, you know, follow-up plans, you know, plans to promote events, things like that. And they're actually really good. They actually publish them to this library, meaning that anybody else that's out there on Keller Williams can actually go through here and see, you know, like this is a long-term nurture plan that Marty Miller created. This actually has, you know, 15,000 downloads. We can view the steps of the plan. This is saying, you know, and kind of like a rough idea of what the plan steps are. So like in this specific one, it says link to MNN. That's the monthly neighborhood nurture. So the exact plan, we just put somebody on. This waits 10 days, and then it gives us a reminder to give them a call another 10 days. You know, here's a task saying, you know, send this client an email. So kind of just something that's built in right here. And if I wanted to check this out further, I can actually add the Smart Plan right from here and download it to my library. Actually, it looks like I have this plan already. But you can go through here, check out anything that's out there. You can, of course, do a search for anything that you might be interested in checking out. So let's say if there was an open house, you know, I was looking for an open house follow-up plan. I can search for open house, and there's a bunch here that kind of come up, including the one by Keller Williams that's going to be here. But if I wanted to go through and check out what other people have created, I can go through these and add them to my library. It's just an example of these that are out there.
Question, so like one of the steps is to send an email. So can you already pre-made the email, or you have to type it that day?
So that plan said it was just a task, but you can create an email right from here, and that would send out instead.
Okay.
So let me go through that example now. So whatever Smart Plans that I download from the library, I'm going to find them in my Smart Plans tab. So here we go. This is that open house follow-up plan from earlier. At least at the current moment, in order for me to like really dig into these and see what the actual plans, or actually the step plans have, I would have to go over on the right side under this actions area, is click on the little edit button. It looks like a pencil. From here, I can actually click on it and be able to see in detail what the actual task plans are, or emails, or call reminders, anything like that, the delays in between each one, and just have an idea of what this plan is going to, basically do. The ones that are created by Keller Williams, it'll tell you here, this is a Keller Williams managed plan. It's very limited in the customization we can do with these at the moment. If this was a plan created by somebody else that I had downloaded and gone in here, that kind of plan, it lets me update however I see fit. I can remove steps, I can change the messaging that's on there, I'll be able to do more with it. So we back out here, and let me go through a fresh example of what we can do with creating a smart plan. So I can click on the create button over on the top right, and I'm going to give my plan a name. So let's say this was an open house. I was going to make my own open house follow-up. And because I might have one with a name in there already, so I'm going to call it 2, just to tell us apart. All right, so this is a blank page that we see here whenever we start a brand new smart plan. And all of our actions are going to be over on the right side. So from here, let's say that first thing that I want to do after I have my open house and put them on this smart plan is I want this to send a text message to them. So again, if I have the subscription already ready to go, at least, and at this moment until they're able to fix the issues with it.
So if you don't have a subscription, you cannot send it to your regular phone?
So if you don't have a subscription, what you could do is you can make a task as a reminder to send a message. So you'd have to, at that point, do it manually every single time.
Okay.
But you could get the reminder to send, to send a message. If you, at least in this current time where we can't set up a subscription, or if you didn't have it already, that would be the way to do it. So it would be added steps, especially if you have multiple people on the plan. You'd have to copy and paste your message every single time and send it to specific people. But at least that way it would come from your personal number at that point. So you'd have that option.
Is there anything is there any smart plans that have to do with social media? Like it will go ahead and DM somebody or something like that?
Not too many that we're actually, that's I think that's something that's not currently put into Command, where it goes directly through social media like that. The closest thing I can think of is if you ran an actual ad campaign, a social media ad, where it actually went out to Facebook and Instagram directly. That would be I think the kind of closest equivalent to it. Because these will only deal with either sending out messages, or text messages, or emails. This is as far as these go currently. Okay, so let's say that the first thing I want this to do is send out a message. Again, my Twilio account is connected, and I want this to say, hi. Hey, and then skip down here and say thank you for coming to my recent open house. So if you want this to be a plan that you use kind of for more than one occasion, you want to be kind of as generic or kind of open as possible, like with these types of messages, or with the emails that you send out. Because if you're specific to coming to my recent open house at 123 Main Street, you have to go into this plan every single time and update that address, which it's not a bad idea. It's more more direct, more personal in that way. But you'd have to remember to do that every single time. Every single time you have an open house and you want to put them on this plan, if you did something like that, you'd have to update or make a whole new smart plan every time. So this is why I recommend kind of leaving the specifics out of it like that. And just going with something like, thank you for coming to my recent open house. Please let me know if you have any questions. Just something simple like this.
Too bad you can't have a smart plan that has a form fill where you plug in the address and the date.
Yeah, that's not to say that that wouldn't, be, something that they put in the future, for something very specific but, that's to, at least, here currently, this is what we have to, have to work with. So let's say that I do, this, and I go down here. Always really recommended that you, of course, you put your name and, all your contact information with these sort of things. So if I did 1092. And again, because this is going to be coming from the Twilio phone number and not our cell, good idea, something to do would be to say, please save my number in your contacts so that you may continue to receive my messages. Kind of something like that, especially if this is the first kind of plan that you're setting up in this way. Probably a good idea to write something like this in there. And we can say something like this, cell, my actual cell number, and then, I always say a good idea behind the Twilio number would be like, like an office line. And I actually don't know what my Twilio number is. Well, I'll find that later, but let's say that was my office number. That way, they wouldn't be, they wouldn't get surprised if they're getting a message maybe from two different, numbers like that. My actual cell number and the one coming from Twilio. So kind of just think about that and putting something like that in your message when you are saying something like this.
Twilio ever changes your number, or you have to request that every time you kind of move around?
It would never replace a number on its own unless you went through the steps of changing it, yeah. Or if you canceled your subscription and, and then that's how you would lose that number. Because when you sign back up, you'd have to go get a whole new number. You wouldn't be able to get the one that you had before. You'd have to get a whole new one. And in that situation.
Like a whole different pipeline perhaps, but that number just received, but we are the ones in charge behind it, so sending our number direct is a good choice.
Yeah, or just, writing it out here, just like in the messages, just saying, save my number, it's just different ways to kind of, communicate that.
So what would happen if they reached out to the number from Twilio?
So if they called it, it would re-forward back to your actual cell number. That's actually something that's set up in the command settings in there, is a call forwarding number. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is so funny. Why do we have to get Twilio when we can actually just send messages using our number? Because I think we talked about this before, right? I was trying to get my number to show when I send the text rather than me sending a text saying, hey, this is Diana, this is my number.
yeah.
Why do we have to go through these 3 steps?
So that's because of the the current setup in your command. It has to go through that subscription and therefore that number to go from here, in command. So this is not, of course, preventing us from sending our own messages from our own cell numbers. But if we want to do something like this where it's automated, where we don't have to do this every single time,
How do
and
we
we
do
just have
that?
a plan for this, then
Sure.
this is what we're doing right here.
Okay.
Yeah. So just kind of, I'm running out of time here. So just kind of just to continue here real quick. Let's say this is my first thing that I want this to do is send out this text message, which is good. The next thing that I want this to do is to have a delay. So I'm going to click on set delay. And if I'm clicking these in order, what it does is it places the next step that I choose right below the one before it. So here, I chose a delay. I want this to wait, let's say, I'll say 3 days. From the first message that it sent out, wait 3 days. And then the next thing I want it to do is maybe send out an email. Or, I can set this to 1 day, this really the option is there for you to choose how long you want to go. So I'm gonna click on send email. Here's the reply to email. By default, it's my Keller Williams email here. But if I wanted to update this, I can click the settings button and it's gonna tell me, to choose a different email address if I want this to come from a different place. Here's my subject. Again, thank you for coming to my open house. That's the subject. And then down here, kind of the same thing. I can type out my message that I want this email to say. Hey, and so on. Thanks for coming to my open house. And of course, I would go through and I'd put in all of my contact information in here too, so that whether they receive the text, it's got my info, they receive this email, they have my info too, just more chances for it to catch that. And I can really kind of go on from here. The next step is, I can set another delay if I wanted to, make this one be 3 days. And let's say that the next thing that I want this to do is to remind me to make them, to give them a call. So let's make a call.
On the delays, I'm sorry to interrupt, but on the delays, can you put an actual date instead of days?
So we're not able to do that. It's just the only delays we're able to set from here are an actual specific days or number of days, but not a specific day of the calendar. So that's kind of where it can get a little tricky here, and we kind of would have to put a little more thought into the timing of the messages when we're not able to send this one October 1st, send the email October 15th, send the email October 17th. It's just from the start of the plan going forward, and then the days and delays that we set from there. And it can kind of just go on from here. Here's my call example. I can give it, call as part of open house follow-up. And here's the description. Give them a call and follow up with this person. Anything like that. When it comes to the reminders, like call reminders or the other tasks, you get notified of those in Command itself. So if I go through this and I actually save this plan, and if I were to activate it to get it going, and this specific time of the plan came up, I would receive that notification to do that out here, in a couple of different areas. One of them is going to be out here on the home screen of Command, where I see my task list. I'm going to see them there. If I use the Command app on my phone, which there's an app for Command, it sends notifications from there about these types of tasks, so that's another really good way to get them. So just kind of some alternatives here is how you actually receive those notifications to do these tasks and make these calls as part of this, these plans that we set up, or anything else that we go on from there. let's see. So that's kind of a rundown of Smart Plans. I'm out of time now. If you guys have any questions, I'm gonna be out there. You guys can, ask me anytime. For those out there on Zoom, feel free to get a hold of me through the main office, or come see me in person if you have any questions on any of this stuff. All right, well, hope that helps, and thanks for coming.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.